Well, that was a fun night. Hey, everybody. Am I picking? I'm happy to pick. Sure. Ladies first.
We have one right here, second row, left-hand side.
Today's Salcedo Instinct Culture. So I'm gonna start off with the big moment that just closed out the show. A historic moment leaving so many fans completely shocked. From your point of view, being in there in the ring as this unfolded, talk to us about how you felt in the moment and coming out of it, of course, and seeing this different side of John Cena.
It was an amazing moment. Lisa, is it? Denise, sorry. Too much tequila. Denise, it was an amazing moment. And you know, we as entertainers, whether in pro wrestling or whether in film or television or whatever it is that you do, you really live for moments like that where you can hopefully create something that could be very compelling and moving for the audience and take tonight 38,000 strong here in Toronto. And what we have collectively thought about and talked about in the back, before and certainly after this moment, is no one knew really what was going to happen. Maybe a few called it, but for the most part, I thought the moment was incredible, and I personally love that. And I've been around the block in terms of being a pro wrestler and I grew up in this business, so I love this business. And what I felt tonight, and I've been a part of some really phenomenal professional wrestling angles. And as a kid growing up, we all have seen some amazing professional wrestling angles. I felt like tonight stood beside all of those that were the iconic angles. So it was really incredible. So I was very proud. But overall, I thought the performances by everybody across the board, all the women, all the men, they put it out there. And I'm very, very proud of them. I know their schedule, I know it well. I lived it at one time for many, many years. I grew up in it with my dad, my grandfather, my uncles, my grandmother, I mean everybody, my cousins. So I understand the grind of the schedule, and what everyone was able to do tonight from top to bottom, from the opening match to the final match, was really phenomenal, and I was very, very proud of everybody. So what a night it was.
Thank you.
The greatest, I think, angles in wrestling is when it's anchored in some sort of authenticity. What you felt tonight, he didn't say a word. Look, he came out and dropped the mic. That's decades of a man who gave everything to this business that I love. And now it's coming out. And I told him as he left. By the way, he flew in today, this morning, from Budapest. He's flying out right now to Africa to continue. So that's a level of commitment. And I told him as he left, I said, we say two things in our wrestling vernacular. He said, hey, thank you for the house. And I said, I'm proud of you. It's a big deal.
The Rock, Maury from the Roz and Mocha Show on Kiss 92.5 in Toronto. Mocha says hello.
Hi, Maury. Mocha, I know Mocha.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So I want to, first of all, thank you for a night I'll never forget. Want to find out now that John Cena is a bad guy, will we change up the jorts, or will he continue wearing the jorts? Is the jorts a bad guy attire?
That's up to John. I don't know, but I can tell you that jorts or no jorts, I think the thing I'm excited about is watching John perform this. Right? Because if you think about it, John Cena has been our Babe Ruth, he's been our Superman. He's the guy you never, ever, ever thought would turn in this way, and he did. It's a big risk, and it's ballsy to do something like that, and it's gutsy, and he's put a lot of thought into this. So I'm just really excited to see him, just performatively, what this version of John looks like. So George, maybe, I don't know. Knowing John, he'll probably stay the exact same. And he'll probably wear what he wears. And tell everyone go fuck themselves. So those of you who don't know, we had a big match at WrestleMania 18. I came out, I was the big baby face at that time, Hogan was the big heel. The moment we locked up, crowd turned. At that time, I think there was about 60,000 people here. I think the setup was different. And I became the heel within 2 minutes of the match. And so we had to adjust on the go, Hogan and I. And so we went into tonight being flexible, amenable. Let's see if we have to shift and turn. This crowd tonight was unbelievable. And after 3 hours of pay-per-view, people have given all of their energy, but they know something else is coming. And we come out, here comes Rock, here comes Travis Scott. What's going to happen? Are you going to give me your soul? Cody tells me I'm not, in his eloquent way. And in that moment, again, without getting too far into the weeds, everything was just relying on me to make a move, which will then spur the next movements by everybody else. So I just waited and I let it all cook. Once he told me no. Waited, and I think it was such a special moment because I think in wrestling, as we know, it's almost like in sports when you watch pro football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, same thing in pro wrestling. There's a metabolism that happens as you're watching the show, and this happens, and a match happens, and you feel like, oh, the good guy is making like this, he's coming back, and it's happening, and I think a finish is happening, and they kind of know, like there's a rhythm to things. And I think in this case, when he told me, excuse my language, go fuck yourself, and I paused and waited and waited and waited and waited. I wasn't going to move. And finally, when I did make a little bit of a move, John came over, gave him his hug. I got to tell you, I've been part of a lot of really cool moments in pro wrestling, whether growing up and watching them or just being a part of them. And here in Toronto was one of them. That Hogan match with me was the greatest match of my career, and it happened here in Toronto. What made it great was the crowd turned and kept us on our feet. So tonight, the crowd didn't know what was going to happen, but they knew something was going to happen, so they were feeling it. And the moment John hugged Cody, and he looked at me, and I went, the whole place erupted. And that moment is what we work for. Like, that's the thing. It's bigger than a promo, it's bigger than words, it's bigger than anything I could say or anybody could say. It's bigger than a storyline. It's bigger than a television show, it's bigger than broadcast numbers, it's bigger than, it's the fucking feeling that you get when you do something and the crowd just becomes unglued.